Well, good morning. Yeah, I said morning because let me see what time is it. It's about, I don't know, 5 minutes to 1 Pacific Daylight Time. Well, actually, it's 10 minutes, 12:50 Pacific Daylight Time. And I'm sorry I'm on so late. So I can get this adjusted a little bit more. But I can always upload this. And you know what? Uh, it's so easy to be depressed when you have ailments. I had to sit down. Not that just this. It's so easy to be depressed, like I said, when you have ailments, especially if you had these ailments all your life, since you're a little kid. And they didn't discover my problem until I was in my early 30s. And then I started having these hip replacements, early 40s, like 41. Well, oh boy. It's coming up, what's this, 18? So 87 that's going to be 31 years. Yeah, 31 years. And I was so sure I was going to get relief from the pain. Nope. That one surgery turned into 3 more, and then my lower back. And I'm depressed. I'm depressed. I might as well just go ahead and tell the truth. I'm depressed, and I've been depressed for a few days now. I take my meds, but sometimes the depression kind of gets to you. And I know in my case, for me, um, it's just the constant pain. And I can remember back to 3 years old crying to my mom that my legs hurt all the time. My legs hurt. Oh, well. That's when the doctor still came to your house with that little bag, diaper bag, I mean, doctor bag, and there was never an X-ray taken. There was never a blood drawn, nothing. Because he came to the house, and all I would say is, "Well, my mother's name was Katie. Katie, she just got the growing pains, and I can't tell you how many times Dr. Alvin J. Schneider. We're from Seattle, some of you may remember if you're old enough to remember Dr. Schneider. Anyway, he always said, she's got growing pains and they'll go away once she grows up. Well, I have to increase my sound. Well, when I got my 30s, I knew something was wrong. And see, because that was younger than that. Let me go back to once I got out of high school and then got married, during the Vietnam era and having children. I put that pain way in the back of my head. And I just didn't think about it. It was part of me. It had been part of me my whole life. So I didn't think about it until the day I fell out of my chair at work when the pain was so bad. It hit me like a brick. I mean, I was sitting there typing, my new uh, uh, IBM Electric, baby. You could back tape and that backspace and tape would erase, no more carbons, and get your hands all messed with carbon paper. Y'all out there young, you don't know anything about that. Anyway, the day that I felt that pain, I mean, that was the worst I ever felt. And I think I was probably about 30, 31, something like that. Yeah, because my son was about 2 or 3. Anyway, the evening, my leg gave out again getting off the bus, and I almost fell. And a kind gentleman caught me. Not I'd have been down foot count on Rainier Avenue. And so I got to a phone booth because remember, y'all, back then it wasn't no cell phone. You better find you a phone booth. That's a cute little thing. I'll tell you about that later on about the phone booth. And I got the group health and I told them I have not fallen down. I have not been in any accidents. I have not bumped my leg, my hip, nothing. And I said, but the pain is excruciating. So they x-rayed it and I, ma'am, Mrs. Taplin, you will probably need a hip replacement in about 10 years because you don't have any cartilage. Okay, okay, so that's been the source of my pain my whole life, huh? How long you been hurting? As long as I can remember. As soon as I could talk, I could tell y'all my leg hurt. And my mom told me that she put me into a little ballet tap dancing class. I was about 2.5 years old. And all I did was cry. Well, the lady that owned it, she just said that I probably had separation anxiety. I don't think it was separation anxiety because I'm a very friendly person, and you don't become friendly like my BFF says I'm the social butterfly. You don't become a social butterfly just because you grow up. You're always social butterfly. I remember my friend Vanita coming home from elementary school. She said, "You're gonna get kidnapped because you're always talking to everybody." So I don't think I had separation anxiety. I think I had leg pain. That my leg pain. I and I couldn't explain, and here's this strange woman, and I got this little leotard thing on, and when you're two, you still got the little pouchy belly. I could just see me in the dance class, and I really wanted to dance. I really wanted. I used to go down to the YWCA in my area, and I would try to put my leg over the balance bar. I couldn't even get my leg up there. And I would practice for days and for hours and for days and for hours. And I didn't understand why can't I get my leg up there? The bar is only 4.5 feet. I'm over 5 feet. What's the deal here? So I had to let that go. And then in my early 20s, I had a little dance class at the Rainier um, Playfield in Seattle. You guys are from Seattle, know where it's located on Rainier Playfield. And I had a little dance thing. But the problem was I hurt really bad. So it was hard for me to actually make up a dance. And I wanted to do my own choreography. I had these little ideas in my mind and all these things. Because when I got into junior high school, I'm going to go back. So I'd like to jump back and forth. Um, a couple girls I had known since grade school, and a couple girls I met when we got into junior high, middle school now, excuse vernacular. We did a dance to Stranger in Paradise, and my nana made all the costumes. We started out in a straight line, and some had their arms up here, and some had them here, some down, and music started. We were just, it was so wonderful and so fun. My legs hurt. I didn't say anything to anybody because sometimes I would just forget about it was hurting, and it was in the back of my mind. But oftentimes it would push its way through, and then I'm like, "What's wrong, Kay?" Nothing. Oh well. Anyway, let's fast forward. Fast. Last Friday, May 11th, I had an injection of cortisone in my right groin area. As I said, that right hip now, there is no cartilage. I mean, you can see on the x-ray, it's just like this. The hip, the head of the femur, if you look at your femur, our arm and our fist almost look like it, and the femur is bent like this, and it fits into our socket. And it's in a socket so we can pivot, turn our hips. On top of the ball, you've got cartilage, and it lubricates so we can easily turn and maneuver. Our hip, um, shoulder joints, our ankles, and our wrists, so we can move them. Honey, on that right one, as my Aunt Wanda used to say, baby, there's no cartilage. I mean, it's not even onion skin thin. There's nothing there. So I had two options. That's it. Two. Dose. Two. Try the cortisone injection or another hip replacement. And if you ever did cortisone, cortisone is not guaranteed to stop the inflammation. Cortisone does not stop the pain. It controls the inflammation of the joint. So once they control the inflammation, then the pain level goes down. But if the cortisone does not control the inflammation, you're going to still have that pain. Well, it's only been last Friday, so we talked about Saturday, Sunday. Today's Monday, 3 days, and I woke up Saturday morning, and I've never had the shakes. And let's see, I started getting the cortisone injections in my lower spine after I want to say my fourth hip replacement. Yeah, yeah, which would have been the first operation was in 87, so I'm going to say that first injection in my lower back of cortisone was 89. And they told me then, you know what, the cortisone might work and the cortisone may not work. But it worked. I didn't even realize that I wasn't in pain until it started hurting again. And I thought, it worked for a whole year. It worked. The only time it really ever worked was then. But, I go along with it because let me tell you something about the hip replacement surgery. I can't psychologically, mentally, emotionally, can't do it. Mm-mm. The fourth one was done on my left hip 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years next month. June? When are J months? June and July. It wasn't January, I know that, because I didn't fall until February, so it was either June or July. Then I had that number 4. And then that's what knocked me out of the ballpark. No more working in the salon, no more. I couldn't even pioneer, because as some of you may know, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and when you see us coming down the street with our book bags, now you see us coming down the street with our iPads. No more book bags. We have our iPads and or our phones or some smart device. Sure did help with the shoulders and the back. Anyway, I couldn't even do that because I really can't walk now. Anybody see me walk? My left leg is probably, I'd say 2 inches shorter than the right leg, and I could actually hold on and swing my left leg without even touching the floor. Standing flat on my right, I can swing that left leg, doesn't even touch the ground. It's a lot shorter. I just can't because I can't. When I had that last one 10 years ago, as my surgeon to remind me, well, I'm not going to release you to go back to work, and you're 62 anyway, so why don't you go ahead and get your Social Security? Well, 10 years ago makes me going to be 72, and now I don't want to work anyway, but I really would like to have been a auxiliary pioneer, permanent auxiliary pioneer, and that was my goal when I turned 62. I wanted to, by my birthday being October, I would only have 2 months left in the year. I wanted to retire at my birth date and then come back the first week of January so I could maintain my health insurance. That was my plan. Then I could be a regular permanent auxiliary pioneer. And I would have loved it. They get to go to pioneer school. Everybody loves going to pioneer school. I'll never experience that. But, in Ecclesiastic, I think it's Ecclesiastes 9:5. Sometimes I get scriptures transposed, but it just tells us time and unforeseen occurrence befalls us all. There's no such thing as fate. It's just one of those things. I fell a portable massage chair wasn't locked, and when I get ready to straddle the chair did what it was supposed to do. It closed up and it threw me backwards. And being left-handed, bad leg, left one, I went like this to brace myself. And it didn't pop the hip out right away, but it was what my rheumatologist said. It was subluxated, which meant instead of being snug like this, it was like this. That was on a Friday. That was on the 28th of February in 2008. I was at work an hour early because there was an all-star breakfast for the all-stars. The all-stars were people in the salon, fine jewelry, and I think furniture, any department that gave commission. So if you brought in a certain amount of money the year before, you were part of the all-star team. You went to the breakfast sometime, I think in the past, they'd had luncheons, whatever. So this was the third time I was able, in 7 years now. Back that up, back that up, back that up. I started working at a salon in 2001, and by 2008 I went from just a designer to a master designer, and I was in constant pain. My left hip has never stopped hurting me. Never. I don't care what the x-ray says. Every time the x-ray, oh, it looks so good. Oh, look at that. It hurts. I don't care how good it looks on the x-ray. It hurts. I eat oxycodone like those lifesavers, although I don't misuse my prescription. But I know sometimes the doctors, the nurses, the physician assistants, they do the best they can. But I just have a thought that I've got to ask the medical personnel, not really all medical, but the radiologist. If they can give a pregnant woman an ultrasound and see a baby's face, not just the outline in the waves, the ultra waves that make the impression of the baby. If you can now see that baby's face, not just the outline and see his forehead, nose, I'm talking about the baby's face. Why can't they look at my hip and see what's going on in my thigh bone? My femur does not like this thing in there. And it's sore and it's hurt and it's been since 1987. And nobody can listen because they don't know what to do. Oh, it looks so good. Look at that. Oh, it hurts. Nobody wants to listen to me. It hurts. I can't take it out. And I have 2 adjoining scars this long running from my left side of my butt halfway down my thigh. Oh, that looks so good. It hurts. And you know what? I'm just going to have to live with the pain on the right side. I don't care. Mm-mm. You're not going to open me up no more. I've had one back surgery, my lower back. I've got a scar about like that, starting at the tip of my butt, going up my back. The doctor didn't put any spaces in. I don't know what he went in there for, but it hurts. Did you notice I don't have on glasses? Actually, on contacts. And guess what I put on, guys? My Flutter Buddies. And it was no problem because I have contacts and I could see, and I didn't glue them to my eyelid like I did when I was trying to put eyelashes on without contacts. And I was wondering why I couldn't blink. I don't blink. Put the glasses on. The eyelids was glued to the eyelid. I mean, the eyelashes was glued to the eyelid. So uh, I decided tonight I would try. I bought another pair of cheapy $1 eyelashes from the Dollar Tree. So if I get good with these bad boys, I might be in the summer wearing just the readers. I got some cute readers. You know, I showed y'all my readers. They're so cute. And my contacts, because it gets real hot here. I live in the eastern part of Washington State, not D.C. The state, California, Oregon, Washington, Canada, below Canada. Be surprised people are like, where? There's a state named Washington? You mean D.C.? No, West Coast. West Coast. There's a Washington State. Yeah. Anyway, I just had to rant a little bit about my pain, and I always have remembered. You know, my husband says, "You're taking your pain." You know, he can tell when I've been really busy and I forget about it. And he says, "If you're taking your meds," and I was late getting my antidepressant medicine because breakdown in the pharmacist calling the doctor because I needed another um, prescription. That when I had it expired. So I think I got 90-day supply. And I want to thank a really good friend, a very good friend who really encouraged me to take the antidepressants because you always want to classify. So I take antidepressants is and my really good friend who still lives in Seattle, and she's got debilitating disease, and she said, "You've got a chronic disease and you've had it all your life. When you have a chronic disease that you have been suffering with for your entire life or most of your life, or you get a disease, all of a sudden they realize there's no cure, this is going to kill you, or you just got to live with it, you get depressed." And it's so true, so true. So now I pass that message on to people. If you have a chronic disease, if you were born with the disease, if it was something on you, this thing keeps, it's my calendar because the fan is on, it keeps moving. I keep thinking, ah. Anyway, take your antidepressants. It doesn't mean that you're mental. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. It means that you need help dealing with whatever's going on with you. And I listened to her, and I went to my doctor, and my doctor was like, I wasn't going to suggest it, but I'm glad that you mentioned it yourself, that you feel you need antidepressants. So I've been taking them for years. And just go to the doctor, and they will figure out which ones are, or which dosage or whatever is right for you. I'm taking venlafaxine, which is a fixer. I take one capsule every morning, and it helps. It helps a lot. And I did call it in about 2 weeks before I ran out. And I wonder why couldn't they ever call about my prescription? I called Safeway and said, "Oh, it hasn't been called in yet." So I just got on the phone and I called my doctor's office and said, "Please, And one thing about keeping the same doctor, when they answer the phone or the receptionist or the nurse or whatever the personnel are, and you say, hi, this is really, oh, hi, Berlin, how are you? What's going on? I like that. And they know you and they can pull your chart up. And within a couple of days, I had my antidepressant, but it's got to get back in your system. And also, my prednisone. Look, they be laughing at me. My rheumatologist and my with my other BFFs, we go to the doctor together. Miss Brenda Valentine, and we be making her crack up. She be laughing at us, but they laugh at me. 1 milligram prednisone, girl, they ain't doing nothing. It must be doing something else. They wouldn't make them. And I didn't know they made 1 milligram prednisone until my mother-in-law, when we in our house in Seattle, we had it converted to a really nice apartment down there for my in-laws, and she had 1 milligram. I didn't even know they made 1 milligram because once before I had 20 milligram. I don't know why, but I blew up like a blimp. So I thought, no, whatever's ailing me, I think I'm gonna take that because being 189 pounds, I didn't weigh that much when I delivered my babies. But I found the 1 milligram and I've been taking the 1 milligram ever since. And whatever it does it for me. And so y'all laugh all you want because if it didn't do anything, then why are they making them? They're not gonna keep making stuff that is gonna be stockpiled in a warehouse. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. I don't care what it is if it ain't right. And they gonna get rid of it and go back to the drawing board. You guys, my hair is so thin. It used to kind of bother me, but you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna keep it short because if it gets long, it really looks thin. I'm keeping it short, and as I said, I think a couple weeks ago, I cut all the color off. I cut about this much off that was color, and frankly, you know what? I like my little bald head. I mix. I have a concoction of conditioner that should be rinsed out. It's from Desert Essence. It's the coconut conditioner, and I don't rinse it out. I put in leave-in conditioner. I also put in coconut oil and a little bit of argan oil. And what else did I put in? Oh, yeah, some of what is this? Shea Miracle. So I add this to my little concoction, and my hair is so fine. Not only is it short, it's just baby fine. I don't know if you can see it in the. I got the lightest occipital. They just laid me on my head. Y'all pick me up, only what to do, feed me and to change my diaper. And so you left me just laying there on my back, and my head is flat on the back, my occipital bone. I don't have that curvature. And they just let me lay there till I was old enough to figure how to sit up on my own. How old is a baby by then? About 7, 8 months. When they figure out how to sit up on their own. Hear the paper rattling? That's my red vines. Love these. I can't stand the Twizzlers. They don't have something that's, I don't know. I don't like it. My husband will eat anything, so he's eating that bag of Twizzlers. Let me see anything else I want to say. Oh, yes. I was watching a video. One of the most beautiful beauty influencers to me on YouTube, and that is Shalom Black. I watched her tonight. You know what? I sent her a little message. She helped me pull out of depression tonight. She really did. I don't think she knows how beautiful and how talented she really is. And I told her, I said, you gave me a big boost. You know, I was at the pity party and nobody was there with me by myself, and I didn't have any snacks for my pity party. So I just finally said, all right, don't nobody want to hear about it. They've been hearing about your leg hurting about 50 years. Some of the kids I grew up with, well, you always limp. I know because my leg hurt. I was trying to run, races and stuff. You know, I was in grade school. In June, last day of school, they would have a little carnival and stuff. And this is my school. They did Coleman Elementary School in Seattle, Washington. I went there for 7 years from kindergarten through 6th grade. Then I went to the Washington Junior High School. And after I got out of there into high school in 10th grade in Garfield, they finally shut down that Washington. That school had been built. I think I built that school in the early 1900s. And they had mice. Open your locker, get your lunch, and the mouse been testing out your food. You know what? You know food. Mice been testing. Mama mouse feeding her baby mice. But yeah, I'm sure people are tired of hearing about it. But I'm glad I could sit here and I could rant and I could talk about it with people because it really is an issue. There are so many people out there who are hurting from arthritis. And I didn't realize there was over 100 different types of arthritis. And you know, when you're young, you hear your parents and your grandparents and all the older people, you know, they get the rheumatism and they didn't go to the doctor. Nobody went to the doctor for that because they just thought it was just rheumatism. Well, it was probably generalized osteo because that's the one that most people get when they get about 50. Yeah, about 50 because it just wear and tear in the osteo. But when you have like RA, with rheumatoid arthritis, that strikes you when you're, that's your body is turning on itself and it's your joints are being eaten up by themselves because they think that it's a foreign object. Well, after they told me I had arthritis, I was about 30, 31. All right, let's fast forward to 1987. By then, I was almost begging him to do the surgery. I just didn't even want to accept it in here. I didn't want to accept it. And I met a really nice man. I used to meet some really nice guys. Anyway, I was working in cosmetics, fashion fair. It was called the Bon Marché at the time. Now it's Macy's, and it's always been a part of Macy's. And why they do that, I have no idea. But I knew I had to have this surgery. And I went to the doctor, and I went to a pain clinic. I found it in the paper or somewhere. I can't remember where I found it, a flyer or something about a pain clinic. And I thought, that's for me. Because I was taking aspirin, but the aspirin was eating me up. It was, oh, my stomach stayed bloated and hurting and hard. And I found out it was the acid, salicylic acid, the aspirin was just eating me alive. So I went to my doctor and I asked for pain cocktail. And I said, I have two minor children, which I had four kids, but the two older ones were already gone. They were like 18 and 20. Yeah. Or 19 and 20, 21. Anyway, my son was the youngest. He was born 7 years after my youngest daughter. But I still had those two at home, so I couldn't just not work. And it never occurred to me to be on welfare. Like, on what? No, I had to work. That's why I went to school. So I had that first surgery. So the surgery is healing. I go back to my surgeon, for those 6 weeks checkup. And it was the X-ray, and he said, "I'm gonna send your rheumatologist, Dr. Brown. I'm gonna send him a fax. They didn't have no, you know, they got now 87. They had the fax and everything. Send him the fax that he wanted me to be tested for a disease called ankylosing spondylitis." And so when the surgeon said that, of course, your eyes get big and your ears like, a what? Ankylosing spondylitis. So I make the appointment with my rheumatologist to get the blood test. Sure enough, the blood test comes back. It's a gene, it's a marker of one of my genes, and it's HLA-B27. And just because you have the marker doesn't mean that you're going to get ankylosing. But if you get ankylosing, you definitely have the marker. And so now they're like, ooh, Miss Taplin, well, how did you end up with? Um, this is an Anglo male disease. What's going on with your family? See, I'd always known that on my mother's side they were all mixed up people. My mom and her siblings were mulatto, and my dad was dark. I'm dark like my dad. You know, my mom held it against me like it was something I did on purpose. You're the one that had sex with that man and made me. Anyway, I started going back and back and back and back and back and remembering what my family had said. And by then, they were all gone except for one aunt. By the time I got to the doctor, by the time they realized I had ankylosing spondylitis. But I do know because I've got pictures of my grandmother, my mother's mother, and her siblings. And I was told that they came from the British Isles, namely Ireland. And my doctor said that, well, that's where you got the gene from. It's something in your family, in its immediate family. It's not like 5 generations back when the slave owner, that kind of thing. My family actually did come here from Europe. And yeah, my mom was mulatto. And pictures of my great aunts, my grandmother's sisters, and I remember meeting them. Um, yeah, they could pass for white. So now my inside workings are actually more geared towards I don't want to say Caucasian because that to do with the Caucasus Mountains on way on the other side, the Caucasus Mountains. We're talking about the British Isles. That's right there on the English Channel, and there's France. Below there, you got Spain. Here, you got Portugal. And across there, you got the British Isles. You got England, Wales, um, Scotland, Ireland. I used to wonder too about our names. Um, Knowing my family had, how can I say without being offensive, but typical Southern names. We didn't have any Lulabelles and Sally Mays, and and then I didn't start thinking about it really until I found out I've got this ankylosing spondylitis, and it comes from the Anglo part of my family, and that explains my great aunt Janie. That explains why my uncle, my mom's baby brother, why his name is McLean. My uncle that was born right my mom was the oldest of the kids, and so my uncle born right behind her, his name was Aubrey. Then my aunt Velma had a twin, Velma and Thelma. Unfortunately, I never met Thelma. Thelma died when they were 8, and I think the kids had the Spanish flu. We're talking about way. My mom was born in 1911, so the kids had the Spanish flu, and my aunt Thelma got pneumonia behind it, and she died. Could be reason why my aunt Velma was crazy. My Velma was crazy. I mean, yeah, you say, "Oh, girl, she's so crazy." No, Velma was crazy. Uh, then my mom would mention to about her uncle, Archibald was my grandmother's brother. So I was able to go on Ancestry, and I haven't done the kid on the saliva thing. I haven't done that, but I did go down to the census of 1900. And my mother's mother was born in 1892. Her name was Addie. Addie's mother was Katie. And Addie's father was Lee. Now, I didn't know this until I was fully grown up, that my great-grandmother's name was Katie, and that's why my mother was named Katie after her grandmother, my grandmother's first child. She named her first baby, which was a girl, after her mother, Katie. And I remember asking my mom about my name, Verlena K. And she said, well, when she and her sisters. I think Thelma was passed away by then. She said she and Aunt Velma and Aunt Eileen. Oh, my Aunt Eileen. I forgot about her. Tall, long leg woman. Always had baby hair. You know, that was kind of hair, baby hair. So can't deal with it because I'm about bald and, thin. I'm 72 years old. Anyway, my mom said that when they were little girls playing with dolls, they decided the first one of them having a little girl, her name would be Velina Kate. Somehow, I don't know where the mix-up came because my birth certificate, when I got my birth certificate to get my first passport, way back in the 60s, my Aunt Velma didn't know. Now, my mom was gone by then. My mother died in 64 of colon cancer, but nobody else in my family has died of any cancers. I think it was environmental. A lot of folks in our area died. I came back home in 69. I've been gone a few years and found out. I can tell you about 20 people have died in the area where I grew up. Anyway, they dug the street up. They dug it up in the, I'm going to say early to mid 50s and to widen the street. Anyway, get back on subject. See, I'll just be all off everywhere. Nobody knew. I was shocked. Is this somebody that put electrical wire through me? My birth certificate says Velina Kate. Well, see, that makes more sense than Berlina K. Because my mother's name was Katie, and her sister was Velma, and the other sister was Aline. Does it make more sense to be Velina and not Verlina? Because there's no R in Katie, Velma, or Aline. And I was totally shocked when I told the registrar, I said, this is me, but why is it Velina Kate and not Verlina K? Of course, nobody knew. So I had to get that straightened out. Because on my children's birth certificates, my own diplomas and certificates and licenses and my hair license and my instructor's license, all that is in Berlina. And I'm in the process now of getting that changed to Velina Kate. I like that. And it makes more sense to be Velina Kate and not Berlina K. And then it brought back memories of my Aunt Wanda. And she was not a fleshly sister. She was a sister-in-law married to my Uncle McLean. And she always would say, Velina. And I thought about it off and on. Velina. Then once I got the birth certificate, I said, that's why Aunt Wanda would say Velina. Because it is Velina. So as y'all know, I'm Velina the Flutterby. I'm your favorite Flutterby. That's because I'm your only Flutterby. Tell the truth. You don't know anybody else is a Flutterby but me, huh? Can you do that with your eyelashes? Can you flutter your eyelids? This is Velina Kate. I am the only Flutterby. Oh, one more thing, too. I remember listening to Shalom and... See, I don't know how old that tutorial was that she gave. I don't know how old it was, but it was a new makeup from... I forgot what she said. Oh, my. Anyway, they sent her the whole line of the new makeup. They've got included some nice dark colors. And they had a white foundation. Well, I've had a white foundation for years. I bought it through eBay from a company in Asia. I don't know if it's Japan, Korea. Oh, I think it's Korea. I think it's Korea. Because I really think it's... I had it. What did I do with it? But y'all find it as soon as I'm through. Oh, piddle diddle. Oh, piddle diddle. I don't know what I do with it. Oh, I don't know what to do with it, but it's in a pretty big bottle. Mm. I don't know. I don't know, my friend. Oh, what I do with it. But it actually is white foundation. And it all it is just hasn't had color pumped into it, that's all. Excuse me. I've got a fan on because it's been very hot, and I don't know if I told you guys or not, last year our air conditioner heat pump, that's a heat pump. I didn't know what that was till we moved to Moses Lake, moved over here because over on the west side of the state, you didn't need air conditioning. Now the weather really is shifting. You need air conditioning if you live over on the west side of Washington State. The mountain range separates eastern from western. Um, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I didn't know what it was. I said, "What's that big thing out in back?" And found out that's what controls the air conditioner. And even if you're in a city that and you don't have air conditioning, if you look around buildings and you see this huge unit, that's the air conditioning unit. I thought it was just a little thing you put on the furnace, but it's not. It's a major thing, and more modern houses around the Bay, that's San Francisco, Puget Sound area, are getting air conditioning built in because it's really getting much hotter in Seattle. And ours went out last year. Thing was 20 something years old. It just now you don't have to use it for your furnace. Your furnace, they like doing them together. If your heat pump goes out, they want you to get a new furnace because you know how that is, the old thing trying to keep up with the new modern thing. And I believe the house we bought it 10 years ago. It's a Marlette and it's a double wide mobile home. We have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. I love my huge master bedroom, master bath. But the heat pump went out, and that meant there's no air conditioning. So we bought a portable air conditioner, not the one that goes into the window. This is a unit that's about the size of a hotel refrigerator. And it does have a hose, about like that, the accordion hose. You can do it like this, about this big. And it has its own window, uh, the part that goes in the window, but it's all plastic. And when you look at it from the outside, you don't realize that it's the exhaust, the heat from the air conditioner. We touch that accordion wire. And so it puts out heat. It puts out a lot of heat, puts out a lot of air conditioning. And we put it in, let's see, my husband put it in yesterday, and I could feel the air. It's pushing the hot air away from the living room down the hall. And one of our problems for the summer, we've got a skylight in the kitchen, and that skylight, you can't stand under that thing when it's high noon. I'd say between 11:30 and 2:30, you will cook trying to stand under that skylight in the kitchen. And I like to look at it at night though, because you can see the stars through it. But I just have a little portable, fan that goes on your desk. Um, Sometimes I get those little flashes, what I'm talking about. My mom told me, my nana, she said, "Oh, you don't get the night sweats." And I was like, "I got night sweats." Yeah, I'm 71 years old. I'm getting night sweats. Anyway, yeah, age is really funny. You never think about being old. It never occurred to me that one day I'd be 70. Now I'll be 72 in few months. What is this, May, June, July, August, September? 5 months, I'm going to be 72. Whoever says, "Oh, girl, I can't wait to be 72." You know, only thing we look forward to is the 18, get out of high school, 21, so you can go and buy alcohol, whatever, and then you getting it approaching to that retirement age, you know, and get about 56, 57, you start thinking, am I going to cut this loose at 62? And then you kind of start monitoring yourself, you know, and you start, close you get to 60, you really start thinking about how much longer I'm going to stay here. You know, and I'm going to tell you, anybody that's still working, if you're healthy, keep on working. If you have a job that you can cut down your hours as you get older, do that. Do that. And if you don't have hobbies, if you don't have things to do to occupy your time, keep working. And I think we've all said, I know I've said when I was young, I tell young people, don't say that. You don't really want to retire. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. I have found my niche. You know, I love making jewelry, crocheting my sweaters. Some of the heavy ones for winter I crochet and yarn. Then when it gets nice, I do, hang on, I'm going to get you one of my sweaters. So this is something that you can wear all 16th when I see my rheumatologist every 6 months. So she gave me an injection into, she couldn't go in the tendon anymore because she's been in there twice. Any more than twice, your tendon can rupture. So she gave me I can move my thumb now. Before I couldn't even move my thumb. She gave it to me somewhere in here. And also, something that I didn't know, because I've been getting cortisone shots. I don't think I can twist my wrist enough. Oh, yeah. See, it's kind of dark here. That's where she gave me the injection for my cortisone the first time. And all of a sudden, I woke up one morning. Honey, there wasn't no melanin. It had turned white. White. And just so happened, it was I see my primary care doctor once a month because I have such a heavy dose of pain med. So I see her once a month. Anyway, a really good friend who's in my congregation, um, she's a medical assistant. She works in the hospital, clinic. It's Confluence Medical Center, and she just happened to be working with my doctor that particular day, and I showed it to her. She said, "Did you get a cortisone shot?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "That's what it is. It blocks your melanocytes from producing the melanin. But once the cortisone wears off, the color comes back." So I showed this to my doctor, and she said, "I didn't realize it because I think I was the first black person she ever gave cortisone shot to." She's a cute little tiny thing, weighed about 100 pounds, and had 3 babies in 4 years. She had 2 since I've been with her. Anyway, cute little thing. And so she gave me the second one in there. Same thing happened. It stopped the melanocytes. But once the cortisone had made its little round, and it just dissipated, the color came back. But she said you only get 2 cortisone shots or 2 shots in the tendon because it could rupture. So she gave it to me somewhere in the fleshy part. And then I had the trigger finger. See, I'm all messed up, child arthritis. This finger, I would have to actually make it. It wouldn't unfold. So then she gave me a shot right in here. I got a little red dot right there. But she gave me the shot. And there, that kind of hurt. This one didn't, but you know, her hands are tough. No matter how much lotion, you know, and being a housewife and a mom, you got washing dishes, and I was a dishwasher and didn't have no dishwasher, you know, and when my kids was little, especially the 2 older ones, we didn't have them disposable diapers. You dunked the diaper in the toilet. And you rinse that baby out, put it in dirty clothes. But then being a hairdresser, my hands all in water and stuff. But anyway, when she broke through that that top layer of whip leather there. It's sure to help because now I can move my finger. Now, how long the cortisone's going to last in the finger, I don't know. Anyway, folks, I love you, and I'm so glad you spent this time with me, and I found the white foundation, which I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this, and it says Makeup, Professional Makeup, and it is Korean. So if I get something that's a little too dark, I just put a few pumps in it, boop, boop, and I'm good to go. And I've got one from NYX. That's more of an olive. If it's too red, I put a little bit of that and this and there, and I get a perfect flow and go. And this is not any liquid foundation. This is just my powder. I love it. I've told you guys before about it. It's my facial powder from Cleopatra's Choice. I really like that. See, I'm filming back here in my bathroom, so I've had to take things in and out, and oh, here it is. This is the Adovia, and I believe this one is the mocha. It's the mocha, and I really like it. I have a chestnut sometimes, which is a little darker. You can really follow up and do the chestnut and get you a good angled contour. So anyway, I've enjoyed our time together. This is Valina, your favorite flutterby. I'm leaving the cocoon. Bye. If I figure out how to turn it off. That's funny. What does that say?